Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story.
Jeffrey Epstein, the most despicable sexual predator in modern history. Ghislaine Maxwell, the madam, currently rotting in prison. Donald Trump, former U.S. president. And today, Melania Trump. Over the past 5 years, the Washington elite have tried to weave an invisible but malicious thread connecting these four names. They used blurry photos from the 90s and casual emails to fabricate a narrative that the former First Lady was part of a criminal network. But be careful what you believe. Today, Melania Trump didn't just break her silence. She drew her legal sword to slash through the lies of the Daily Beast, James Carville, and Harper Collins. But most importantly, she just issued an ultimatum that should make Capitol Hill tremble. Open the doors of Congress. Let Epstein's victims step into the light and name the people truly behind the curtain under oath. This is no longer just about clearing your name. This is a show your cards kind of war. Why is it that the Department of Justice can find thousands of Melania's emails, but accidentally loses the camera footage from Epstein's jail cell? We are diving deep into the receipts they don't want you to read. To start, we have to talk about guilt by association. In the ultra-rich circles of Palm Beach in New York, standing in the same room as a criminal does not make you an accomplice. Listen to how Melania tackles this head-on.
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note.
A trivial note. Do you see the sharpness here? The media tried to use a microscope to scrutinize a casual email, turning it into proof of a dark relationship. But in the adult world, replying to a polite email is the bare minimum. Standard. What's telling is that while the mainstream media spends hundreds of hours analyzing a thank you email from Melania, they remain completely silent on the list of 29 Epstein associates who were secretly given immunity deals by the U.S. DOJ. Why is attention being diverted to a casual note instead of the people who actually boarded the Lolita Express? That's not journalism. That's a meticulously orchestrated diversion campaign to protect Epstein's real VIP clients. One of the most toxic lies is that Epstein introduced Melania to Donald Trump. They wanted to turn her into a commodity in a sex trade. Listen to her crush this theory using the historical timeline.
I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings.
Pay attention to the milestones. 1,998 and 2002 years is a massive gap in legal records. She met Mr. Trump before she even knew Epstein existed. her public challenge, citing her own memoir, is a bold move. Why? Because when you put that in a book, you're placing it into the historical record with legal liability. But more importantly, she issued an absolute list of no's to shut down any speculation by the FBI and the DOJ, so demolished one of the most toxic and persistent rumors that Epstein was her matchmaker to Donald Trump. The media tried to use this detail to degrade her, turning their marriage into a shady transaction arranged by a sex offender. Melania doesn't just deny it. She provides an alibi using the historical timeline. The truth is always in the details. 1998 was the year she met Mr. Trump. 2000 was the first time she crossed paths with Epstein at an event. This timeline cannot be bent. By mentioning her memoir, Melania, she isn't just marketing her book. She is establishing an official record. When you include an event in a legally published autobiography, you are putting your honor and legal liability on the line. She is challenging the media. Present your evidence right here, or shut up. And to completely close the door on any speculation, she drops absolute assertions, leaving zero room for misinterpretation.
I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein's abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island. I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated.
Never on the Lolita Express, never stepped foot on Little St. James Island, not present in any victim's testimony, no name in the court documents. Look deep into this reality. The U.S. Department of Justice has ransacked every corner of Epstein's life. They have thousands of hours of secret footage from hidden cameras on his island and in his mansions. If there was truly a single frame featuring Melania Trump on that plane or that island, do you think it would have been kept hidden until now? No, it would have been leaked to the New York Times in 2016. Her complete absence from the legal records is the most ironclad proof of her innocence. Yet the media chooses to believe deepfake images on social media rather than court dockets. But Melania isn't just defending herself with words. She took action. And the list of those defeated at her hands is a warning to anyone looking to profit by smearing someone else's reputation.
Individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and Harper Collins, UK.
James Carville, the political old fox of the Democratic Party, the Daily Beast, a left-leaning media giant, all have had to bow their heads and apologize. In the U.S., for a public figure to win a defamation suit is incredibly difficult unless you can prove the other party knew perfectly well they were lying but did it anyway. Forcing a major media outlet or publisher to publicly apologize and retract an article is an exceedingly rare event in U.S. defamation law, especially for a public figure. It requires you to prove actual malice, meaning Melania proved before the law that they fully knew those stories were fabricated, but they deliberately published them to destroy her reputation for financial and political gain. This is a crystal clear warning sent to the media elite. You make money by selling out my honor, and I will make you pay it back with public humiliation and massive financial settlements. She is not just protecting herself, she is exposing the outrage manufacturing industry. And this is why this video is so important. After proving her innocence, Melania Trump launched a decisive strike aimed straight at the power center of Washington, D.C. She isn't just protecting herself. She is demanding justice for the women abused by Epstein, people who are currently being silenced by the current system. A series of redacted names, secret immunity deals signed by the DOJ, stashed away files, Congress passing the buck. And here is Melania's knockout punch.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the Congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
Permanently entered into the Congressional record. Do you understand the significance of this? For years, the Epstein files have been a game of hide and seek. Blacked out names, broken cameras, witnesses suddenly going silent. Melania Trump is saying, fine, you want justice. Open public hearings. Let the victims stand there under oath and point out every powerful figure who participated in that party of sin. For years, the Trump family has been besieged by a media machine that views destroying them as a profitable industry. But when you back someone into a corner with the most despicable lies, you force them to fight back with the sharpest weapons. Melania Trump has weaponized transparency itself. She has put her entire reputation, legal history, and truth on the line. And now the ball is in the court of the U.S. Congress and the DOJ. She's ready to lay it all bare. The question is, do the lawmakers in Washington, D.C. dare to do the same? Or will they continue to close committee doors, refuse to release the list, and hide the names sitting in the upper echelons of society? Names who are willing to use the media to point fingers at a former First Lady just to distract the public from their own actual crimes. We need to stop treating social media outrage as the final answer immediately. We need real hearings, real testimonies, under the penalty of perjury. Thank you to Melania Trump for daring to speak the one thing many in Washington fear the most, the truth. What do you think? Will the U.S. Congress dare to establish these hearings and let the victims name the true predators? Or will the black book be forever buried under the dust of power? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Share this video so the truth isn't buried, and hit subscribe to join us as we unearth the next hidden files.